Today, this village is known as Saul in honor of Patrick's first barn church here in Ireland. One of the oldest establishments in Saul is Paddy's Barn, a family-run restaurant, pub, and bed and breakfast. It's lunchtime, so history's gonna have to wait. This is Slemish Mountain in County Antrim in Northern Ireland. Slemish Mountain, or Slieve Mish, has long been regarded as the location where Patrick was held captive as a slave shepherd. Slemish Mountain is the plug of an extinct volcano made from mineral-rich dolerite. It has a very distinctive appearance with a steep and rugged top section and smooth, sloping fields surrounding the bottom. The mountain dominates the landscape for miles around. Although usually beautiful and full of wildlife this time of year, Slemish Mountain endures months of wet, cold, and nasty weather. On St. Patrick's Day, large crowds hike to the top of Slemish Mountain as a pilgrimage of sorts. I hear you can even see Scotland from the summit. I have a feeling that's probably not the case today. Let's do this. The work of a slave shepherd was bitterly isolated and strictly enforced. The Druid slave masters were known for their obsession with fear and death. Human heads were impaled on walls and posts as warnings throughout the whole territory. The local Druid priests also demanded human sacrifices to their many gods. Patrick likely observed the ritual of the Wicker Man, where villagers were forced inside a huge human figure woven of sticks. At the end of the ceremony, the Wicker Man was lit on fire, creating a massive blaze that could be seen for miles. This is the awful world that Patrick experienced while fighting off packs of wolves and wild boars on the slopes of Slemish. He later wrote in his autobiography, Confession, "I did not believe in the living God, nor did I from my childhood, but lived in death and unbelief until I was severely chastised by hunger and nakedness." As Patrick faced his first months of loneliness, hunger, illness, and despair here on Slemish Mountain, he began seeking God. But after I came to Ireland, every day I had to tend sheep, and many times a day I prayed, the love of God and his fear came to me more and more, and my faith was strengthened. And my spirit was moved so that in a single day I would say as many as 100 prayers, and almost as many in the night. And this even when I was staying in the woods and on the mountains, and I used to get up for prayer before daylight, through snow, through frost, through rain. There the Lord opened the sense of my unbelief, that I might at last remember my sins and be converted with all my heart to the Lord my God, who comforted me as would a father his son. St. Patrick, Confession. Well, I made it to the summit of Slemish Mountain. To think that Patrick ended up serving 6 long years as a slave shepherd up in these harsh, secluded hills of Northern Ireland. Although beautiful, I can't imagine the painful isolation, alone, with no social contact, no community. Looking out at this stunning landscape, Patrick's story reminds me of another historic figure that served as a shepherd in seclusion during his young life. David from the Old Testament. Scripture tells us that David spent his formative years developing his courage and character alone in the Judean wilderness. While tending sheep, both of these men developed a total dependence on God.
In Psalm 63, when David was alone in the desert of Judah, he wrote, "You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you, in a dry and parched land where there is no water. On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night, because you are my help. I sing in the shadow of your wings. I cling to you. Your right hand upholds me."
After 6 tough years in this area of Northern Ireland, totally relying upon God, Patrick wrote that he had a life-changing dream. In confession, he recalled, "One night I heard in my sleep a voice saying to me, 'It is well that you fast. Soon you will go to your own country.' And again, a voice saying to me, 'See, your ship is ready.' And it was not near, but at a distance of perhaps 200 miles. Then I took to flight. I went in the strength of God, who directed my way, until I came to that ship." Almost immediately, Patrick snubbed his fear of punishment, left his flocks, and walked many days to a foretold location on the Irish coast. He was about 22 years old. Now, tradition tells us that Patrick caught a ship somewhere between here at Howth Head near Dublin and Wicklow Head, about 45 miles south of me. Now, geographically, this is the easternmost region on the mainland of the Republic of Ireland. Patrick the fugitive traveled back over the Irish Sea to Britain. There, he joined a monastery and dedicated the next 20 years of his life to pursuing God and the gospel of Jesus Christ. Much of what we know about Patrick comes from his own account, confession. It's rather short, about 6,600 words in the English translation, but it's filled with incredible personal insights. 8 Latin manuscripts survive, the earliest being from the 9th century. Another primary source is the Life of St. Patrick, written by Muirchew in about 680 AD. According to Muirchew and other traditions, Patrick spent the next 20 years of his life in Britain and France, studying at places such as St. Martin's Monastery in Tours and the island refuge of Larenz Abbey. He ultimately became a priest, probably ordained in Auxerre, France. After 2 decades, Patrick couldn't deny his heart for the Irish people and his calling to return to them. According to confession, he had a series of dreams and visions that finally compelled him to return to Ireland. It was about 432 AD. At this point in history, Ireland was dominated by full-scale barbarism, where murder, rape, slavery, and human sacrifice were commonplace. Nonetheless, Patrick wrote, "I am ready to be murdered, betrayed, enslaved, whatever come my way." He had to return for the Irish people he loved. So, let's return to Ireland and see what happened next.
According to one tradition, Patrick returned to Ireland through the Straits of Strangford Lough in about 432 AD. Strangford Lough is a large sea inlet on the east coast of Northern Ireland. In fact, it's the largest inlet in all the British Isles, covering nearly 60 square miles. Strangford Lough is almost totally enclosed by the Ards Peninsula and is linked to the Irish Sea by a long, narrow channel. The main inlet is an incredible sight with at least 70 islands and a number of outcroppings, bays, and coves.
Tradition tells us that Patrick sailed into Strangford Lough, landing at the mouth of a small river known as the Slaney. Today, this spot is accessible via a road appropriately marked as St. Patrick's Trail. Here, Patrick is said to have met a local chieftain named Daiku, who became his first convert to Christianity. Daiku gave Patrick a barn about 2 miles up the road that became Patrick's first church. The word for barn in Irish was Saul, from which we get the anglicized word Saul. Today, this village is known as Saul in honor of Patrick's first barn church here in Ireland. One of the oldest establishments in Saul is Paddy's Barn, a family-run restaurant, pub, and bed and breakfast. It's lunchtime, so history's gonna have to wait. I would say Paddy's Barn knows how to set a table. This is a meal, my friends, fit for an hungry Irishman. All right, so I ordered the roast of the day, turkey, ham, and stuffing with potatoes, and a side of sausage and mash. And this is just mash. Wow, French fries? That'd be chips. How many ways can you serve a potato? By my count, I've got 5. We have roasted, we have fried chips, baby new boiled, mashed, and mashed with onion gravy. In case my kids are watching, my broccoli. That was good. Excuse me, sir, you've got a little something. So. Oh, hi, it's TV's Dave Stotts, and I'm here to tell you to hit the thing and make sure you ring the thing for more of Drive Thru History, because that's what we all need.